Delhi was alive with its usual rhythm, horns blaring, street vendors shouting, chai stalls steaming with fragrance. In the heart of Karol Bagh, Inspector Arjun Verma stepped out of his jeep, his khaki uniform neat, his eyes carrying the firmness of the law. Arjun was known as a young, disciplined police officer. He carried himself like a man who belonged more to duty than to romance. Waiting for him at Konoita Place, tapping her sandal impatiently, was Anita Sharma. 22, lively, and restless, she wore a blue salwar kameez. Anita was Arjun's girlfriend. She loved him, but his seriousness weighed on her like a stone. Whenever they met, he spoke of duty, cases, and discipline, as if love itself were a crime to be solved. That evening, Arjun had promised her an outing. But even over samosas and tea, he kept glancing at his police-issued phone, answering curt messages from the station. Anita's face soared. "Arjun, do you ever switch off from your police world? Even when you are with me?" He looked up briefly. "Anita, duty doesn't stop for love." Her heart clenched. She wanted laughter, stories, warmth, not the cold shadow of a constable's life. It was then she noticed a man approaching, a tall, smooth-speaking painter named Raghav Malhotra, dressed in a loose kurta, with a satchel slung across his shoulder. Raghav was a local artist who sold portraits to tourists near India Gate. His eyes sparkled with mischief. "Anita ji, what a surprise," Raghav said smoothly. "I was just heading to my studio near Chandni Chowk. Would you honor it with your presence? I've been working on something special. Perhaps a sketch that resembles you." Anita, flattered and still simmering with anger at Arjun's indifference, smiled. "Maybe I should. At least an artist notices me, unlike some people." Arjun frowned, but before he could respond, Anita had already walked away with Raghav. Raghav's studio was tucked inside the old labyrinthine lanes of Chandni Chowk. Its dim walls were lined with unfinished canvases, faces half-drawn, eyes staring from shadows, women in flowing saris frozen in oil. At first, Anita admired the artistry, her irritation fading. Raghav poured her a glass of lemon water, offered sweet jalebis, and charmed her with compliments. But as the evening grew darker, Anita grew uneasy. Raghav's eyes no longer studied her like an artist but devoured her like prey. "Sit here," he urged, pointing to a chair beneath a spotlight. "I want to capture your spirit." Anita laughed nervously. "It's getting late, Raghav. I should leave." He blocked her path with a sudden force. "Stay. I didn't bring you here to just walk away. You are far too beautiful to be wasted on a policeman." Fear jolted through Anita. Raghav reached for her wrist, his touch tight and unwelcome. She struggled. "Let me go." He pressed closer, his voice low and threatening. "You think I'll let you just leave after teasing me? No, Anita. Tonight you'll be mine." In the chaos, her hand brushed against something cold on a table, a knife used to cut canvas and ropes. With trembling strength, she seized it. Raghav lunged. Anita, in a surge of terror, thrust the knife forward. Raghav staggered, eyes wide with shock. Blood bloomed against his white kurta. He collapsed beside his unfinished paintings. Anita dropped the knife, gasping for breath. Her dupatta stuck to her sweaty neck. Her entire body shook. Panicked, she stumbled out of the studio, her sandals clattering on the stone stairs. Only later did she realize, one of her embroidered gloves had slipped from her bag and remained near the body. The next morning, Delhi awoke to the usual hum of rickshaws and chai sellers. But Anita's world was drenched in dread. She could still see Raghav's lifeless eyes staring at her. At breakfast, her father asked lightly, "Why so quiet, Beti? Didn't sleep well?" Her mother added, "Eat your paratha, Anita. You look pale." Every sound in the house seemed sharper. When the maid casually said, "Leave the knife," Wash the dishes. Anita froze, her fingers stiff. The word, knife, rang in her ears like a temple bell of doom. Meanwhile, Inspector Arjun Verma was handed the morning's biggest case, the murder of artist Raghav Malhotra in his Chandni Chowk studio. At the crime scene, Arjun examined the room. He spotted the bloodied knife. And beside it, a delicate embroidered glove. His face stiffened. He knew it belonged to Anita. Instead of presenting it as evidence, he quietly slipped the glove into his pocket. His duty clashed with his heart. Just as Arjun wrestled with his conscience, a sly figure appeared, Suresh Chawla, a petty crook who had been loitering around Chandni Chowk the night of the murder. Suresh had spotted Anita leaving the studio. Later, while snooping, he discovered the second glove she had dropped outside. Suresh confronted Arjun privately. "I know who killed the painter," he sneered. "And I have proof. Unless you want the whole city to know, you'll pay me well." Arjun's jaw clenched. The law he served was now in the hands of a criminal. At home, Anita confessed everything to Arjun. Her tears flowed as she whispered, "I didn't mean to kill him, Arjun. He tried to." Her voice broke. Arjun held her hand. "I know. But now this Suresh has us trapped." The days grew heavier. Anita walked like a ghost, unable to laugh or smile. The blackmailer demanded more each day. And though Arjun thought of arresting him, he knew Suresh's proof would destroy Anita's life. One evening, the police received news. Suresh had been spotted trying to sell jewelry stolen from another house. A chase began through old Delhi's winding alleys. Anita, consumed with guilt, followed the commotion from a distance. The chase led into the National Museum near Janpach. Guards and policemen pursued Suresh through the marble halls, past statues of forgotten kings and glass cases of ancient swords. Climbing onto the museum's glass dome in desperation, Suresh slipped. His scream echoed through the night as he plunged to his death. The secret of Anita's glove fell with him. Back at the police station, Arjun urged Anita, "It's over. Suresh is gone. No one can link you now. Stay silent." But Anita's heart was not free. She walked into a temple the next morning, folded her hands before the deity, and whispered, "Forgive me, Lord. I took a life." Later that day, she accompanied Arjun to the police headquarters, determined to confess. But as she entered, she overheard another woman reporting a theft. The clerk's words, "Tell me exactly what was stolen. Was it a knife?" pierced her soul. The word knife thundered again in her ears. She turned pale, clutched Arjun's arm, and faltered. "Maybe. Maybe later. Not today." Arjun looked at her silently, torn between love and law. The world outside bustled with noise, but in Anita's mind, only one word echoed endlessly. Knife. 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 The morning after, Anita could no longer bear the silence. She turned to Arjun and said, "I cannot live with this secret. I must confess." Her voice was steady now, not broken. It was the voice of a woman ready to face truth. Arjun's heart sunk, but he knew she was right. That afternoon, Anita walked into the police headquarters and declared, "I killed Raghav Malhotra." The room fell silent. Arjun, though pained, stood by her side as she was arrested. Anita was charged with murder, but released on interim bail after Arjun personally vouched for her integrity. The courtroom in Delhi was packed with curious onlookers. Newspapers splashed headlines, "Young woman stabs artist, crime of passion or self-defense." The prosecutor painted Anita as a jealous, impulsive lover. But her lawyer, Advocate Meera Sethi, argued passionately. Anita Sharma was not a murderer. She was a woman defending her dignity against a predator. In the eyes of the law, her act was self-defense, not crime. Anita herself spoke bravely. "I never wanted to kill him. I only wanted to escape." But in that moment of fear, When no one else stood for me, I defended myself. If that is a crime, then I accept my fate." The judge listened intently. After weeks of testimony, the court pronounced its verdict. The evidence shows Raghav Malhotra attempted to assault Anita Sharma. Her act was one of self-preservation. The Indian Penal Code, Section 96, clearly states that nothing is an offence which is done in the exercise of the right of private defence. Therefore, this court acquits Anita Sharma of all charges. The gavel struck. Anita's eyes filled with tears, not of fear, but of release. For the first time since that dreadful night, she felt free. Weeks later, under the shade of marigold garlands and glowing diyas, Anita and Arjun were married in a small ceremony in Delhi. Family and friends gathered, their faces lit with joy. Anita, dressed in a red lehenga, smiled radiantly as Arjun tied the Mangal Sutra around her neck. Her journey from fear to truth had been long and painful. But by choosing the path of honesty, she had not only regained her freedom, but she had also regained her peace. Arjun whispered to her during the wars, "You fought with courage. And now, together, we begin again." The haunting echo of "knife, knife, knife" was gone. In its place was the sound of temple bells, conch shells, and the laughter of family celebrating a union built not just on love, but on truth.